thing that hurts me the most is that I have to watch the NBA Finals and they have world champion on their head. World champion of what?
Welcome to the MarcWes Sports Podcast.
That guy in the USA sprinting, running,
yeah.
his comments about the NBA and champions and stuff like that.
I'm gonna let you speak on it first. What did you think first about Noah Lyles? I think is his name. Basically said that the NBA champion is not the world champion because they don't play against the world.
At first I felt what he was saying, but then I was like, nobody asked you, like, why are you even comparing the two? And then you had Chris went ahead and chimed in and said a reporter actually asked him the question, not comparing the sport. He just used that as a reference to compare, but they asked him some type of question where he used it as a reference. But I still don't feel him, because again, the best players in the world are in the damn NBA. You got people like, start from back in the G, Helu Turkoglu. You have, what's his name from the Spurs, Ginobili, Tony Parker. You got Jovic. You got the MVP Joker. Like, these are the greatest players, and I haven't mentioned anybody from the United States yet. Why, if your basketball leagues in those countries were so great, why aren't they there playing basketball?
Yeah, I don't really think that's his point, though. I hear you, but I totally agree with the dude Noah Lyles, because I always thought that, like, because I'm more of like a logical thinker, and I'm just like, why are they calling them the world champ? I used to think that about baseball a lot. Like, why are they calling this the World Series when a league in Japan is arguably as good or better than the MLB from what I hear. I mean, if you look at Japan's always like competing. Now they got a World Baseball Classic. They just played that last summer or a few months ago. It was the games were here. The World Baseball Classic. So that is truly like the baseball championship. I believe Japan won. I'm not sure. I know America didn't win. So yeah, that to me is the world champion. You know what I'm saying? That to me, because when you're playing against people from the world, you're the world champion. I understand there's people that there's great players from different countries that play in every league. You know, people from the United States, they go to some of them. They go to different leagues in Europe, and soccer is very common. Like the English Premier League has players from all over the world that are playing in it. Brazilians, French people, Africans, Japanese, like all kinds of players. It's not just English people that are in the English Premier League. And so it's the same in every sport. The only sport where you could be like, okay, you're the world champions to me is American football, because there are some very small leagues around the world, but like, I'm okay with the Kansas City Chiefs saying that they're the world champions. There's no doubt in my mind, in that regard. But basketball, I mean, but even if somebody had an argument and said, okay, no, you can't call the Kansas City Chiefs the world champions, I would understand that. And I wouldn't argue with that point, because it is a sport that's happening in America. You playing Kansas City is playing Philly. Two American cities are playing each other. You're the American champion. You're the national champion. You're the whatever league champion. You're the NBA champion, the NFL champion. I totally agree with what the dude said, because I think, another thing too is like, it just shows the arrogance of Americans.
Yeah, Chris said that too.
Yep. Like Americans are just so arrogant. They're like, oh, we got the best players, which we do, Like, I wouldn't argue this, you know? I wouldn't be like, oh, like when you go to the comments of these posts, people are like all up in arms and like, what do you mean? We got, just like you said, we got the best players, you know, and we got a bunch of international players that are playing here, which is all true. It's a valid argument. You can call yourself the world champions in basketball and in football. Baseball, I really think you can't. I think they need to stop calling it the World Series. Just stop doing that, because it's just not true. There's a bunch of great players in Cuba, Dominican Republic, South America, Japan, you know, like like there's a bunch of international players in the MLB. I would say most of the best players are probably not American. You got some that are American, but yeah. So you could probably say that in hockey too, because the two best countries that play hockey are Canada and the United States. You got some players from Russia, some from Sweden, Finland, and whatnot, but the NHL is clearly the best league in the world. The NBA is clearly the best league in the world. The NFL clearly the best league in the world. But I understand his argument. I don't feel so strongly about it where I'd be like, oh, if you call them the world championships, I say, oh, that's stupid, that's dumb. Why are you saying that? And I'm gonna go into the comments and just go on a rant. Like, whatever. If you want to call them the world champions, fine. If you don't, that's fine too, because they're both valid arguments. But I'm more so on the side of the world champion is the one who won the World Cup. The world champion is the one who battled against the world. You know what they should do, because this is something that they do in soccer. They'll have the champion of a league, right, play another champion of another league, and they'll play each other, and that is like the real champion or whatnot.
Yeah.
So I mean, in Europe, you got what's called the Champions League, which is basically a bunch of champions from Europe, different leagues, and they play each other. And then the winner of that league will play the champion of this side of the world, like the Americas. They'll have their own Champions League on this side, and the winner of that, they play a match together, and then that is like the ultimate champion. And if you want to call if that happened somewhere else, I mean, of course we would fucking smack the shit out of that team, whatever team that was. Yep. Any NBA team, any NHL team, any NFL team will destroy that team. But until that happens, you know, those other people have the right to argue back on and say, okay, you're not really the world champion.
Well, I agree with everything you're saying, but let's just say we win the USA basketball, like the Olympic basketball. If every time we win, then it's valid that we're the world champions, because when we play it on a global stand, we always win also. But if it's not that and we're mediocre, then, you know.
Yeah.
So
I mean, look at the. We'll see what happens with this, because right now they're doing the FIBA World Championship, which is basically the equivalent to the World Cup basketball. How many of our great players are in that? You see Steph in that game. You see KD in that game. LeBron is not in that game. Like, none of those players are in that game. But yet they're
like, we don't need to.
You got players like Anthony Edwards and Jalen Brunson are in
people
that.
That's on the bench. People that the you're stars in the States, but for the most part, a lot of these players, like, you're not getting that playing time, and y'all still dominating. It's just clear cut. We're better than you. Let's transition into the last topic real quick.